Math, we'll be taking a look at the built-in functions of Python for mathematics as well as the classic math module. Okay, so let's take the first step, built-in functions. Now with these you don't need to import anything, they just come as is with Python, and here are some examples of them. For example, minimum. If you give Python a change of number, right, 22, 35, 68, maybe more, maybe less. And min, what it does is it finds the smallest number out of the bunch. And it's the opposite for max. It finds the biggest number out of the bunch, okay? So for min in this case, it would be 22. And for max in this case, it would be 56. All right? Now, absolute value, like as I've named here conveniently for the variable, ABS, abs, it returns the absolute value of whatever you put in its parameter, okay? So for POW or power, it takes the first number that you give it, so 3 in this case, and 3 to the number of 6, okay? So it needs both numbers for it to work, right? 3 to the power of 6, okay? So like aside from this, there are also very basic functions that you've most certainly have seen before, like addition, multiplication, division, so on and so forth. Those are also built-in functions for Python. Next up to the math module. The built-in functions only go so far, right? If you want more advanced math, then you go for the math module. It's nicely named, just math. And you can do things like square root, right? Where SQRT, and you give it a number, and it would square root that number. And ceiling, for 1.5 in this case, you would get 2. And floor, 1. And for the last one, math.py, if you, look at the variable name, it returns pi. Okay, and you can, if you assign return pi equals to math.py, you can basically just use return pi to, do a lot of complicated calculations, making the variable very usable in terms of scope, in terms of placement, in terms of, just everything is way better than having to write math.py all over again. Let's first start with the built-in functions. Minimum with min, I'm just going to give a bunch of numbers. Maximum, max, and I'm going to, copy and paste the same chain of numbers that I had with min. Then let's go down here and have minimum and maximum printed out. Then we're moving on to absolute value, okay, with ABS, and I'm just going to give a random number. And then obviously we have to print it out, print absolute value. Next up, let's move on to value to the power of, power 2 and 3, 2 to the power of 3. That's what it means, okay, print that variable. Now, what about the math module? I'm going to import math. And I'm going to go down here. And let's work with some of the functions that are in this module. Square root that we've seen in the PowerPoint, right? Math.square root 16. And then get ceiling. I'm just going to go with 2.6. And get floor, same thing, math.floor, 2.6. Lastly, we have pi, right? Return pi equals to math.pi. Print this out, square root, get ceiling, get floor, and return pi as well. So I'm just going to type this all out. Okay, as you can see here, the minimum for the chain of numbers, 13. And the maximum is 68. So that's the biggest number and smallest number with absolute value. We have 22.33 and power 2 to the power of 3, we have 8. Okay. Square root, we have 4.
Ceiling, we have 3. And then for floor, we have 2. And pi.
That's it for today's lesson. Thank you for watching. Thank you for joining. Next topic is going to be JSON. Okay, a little bit of JavaScript there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Learn today, better tomorrow, and have a wonderful day.